safety, right?
Yes,
So
yes, yes, yes.
exactly because of the reason is exactly because it's a safety culture.
Hmm.
If you see in go to any developed countries, suppose Japan, I'll take an
Hmm.
example in developed countries. They learn safety from beginning. When they'll go school, they'll learn about the housekeeping. They call as a 5S,
Yes,
and they
yes,
learn about the whatever we are saying disaster management. Suppose earthquake happen, what they have to do, where they have to take precaution, no, to avoid of any fall object or something. But
hmm.
in India scenario, if you see our kids, now it is started. Okay, if you go to new school, international schools and all, they will teach lots of safety stuff.
Hmm.
But in our place, 80s or 90s kids, or you can say the 70s kids, we don't have anything in the school. We just
Yeah.
studied ABCD and started our life and just passed our BE or whatever. Then we come to know, oh, there's called safety in exist. So this is about the culture. The
Yeah.
culture, if not developed from the beginning, it is very difficult to adopt safety in any organization. And this
Yes.
is what we are
Correct.
now. We are facing big
Correct.
problem. Every organization you go, the problem is the safety
Hmm.
culture.
Yeah. Correct, sir. So,
So
just to add to that, I just want to know, like, what do you think is the reason? I know you have a deck where you will explain it, but why is that difference? Like, when you say it is more to do with the culture, is it because you gave the example of Japan? Are they disaster prone? It's a disaster prone country. Is that the reason, or according to you, what is the reason? Like, because in
see,
India, yeah.
I feel it's completely my opinion. Okay, I'm not blaming any government or anything. It's completely my opinion. The industrial revolution, though it has happened in other countries and developed countries, they are much
Mm,
ahead of us. And our industry, maybe in Bangalore, if you see, but 20 years back, only started the IT. And though IT is not much into the safety because we don't have much hazard.
mm,
Or if you see the production,
correct.
it starts from production area.
Production, yeah,
So,
yeah.
so mainly the production area initially it was not in India, it was outside basically. And that's the
Mm,
reason that awareness region that was not given and it's very cheap in here. Okay, so people are getting labors cheap and there's no rule initially, and because of that it was completely delayed or overlooked, or you can say it's completely
yeah.
ignored.
So but that is changing now, right? Like,
Yes,
what?
definitely. It's changing a lot many things. New rules has came, new amendments came. If you see the 2030 target, environmental sustainability, there are many things are there now. Now we are now many
Yeah.
places we are leading, but still there are many things we need to do as a government part. Support as a MNC, maybe your company or my company or other company, they are working because generally when the MNC establish in India, they establish their rules and regulation
Correct. Correct.
rather
Yeah.
than that following the
What
government.
they do? Yeah.
Government
We
rules
have
are, suppose government rules are here, the
standards are
foreign
there.
the people rules are here, so
Yeah.
they will always follow stringent one, a
Yeah.
stringent one.
Yeah. Because most of the times, what happens is, particularly when we go to this manufacturing, we have some
Hmm,
partners where we go. They ask us to put
hmm.
a goggle and
Yes,
then
yes,
wear a
yes.
shoe.
Hmm,
So it
hmm,
sometimes it looks like more funny, but I understood it when I went and saw
hmm,
their operations.
hmm.
Right? They explained why it is. So that is when I actually
Yes,
understood.
yes,
Yeah, thank you,
exactly.
sir. Thank you for that information. I think you can go with your deck if that is
Yeah,
fine with you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just can you present the deck?
Yes. Yes. Sure.
I'll start with the video.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So welcome all, and I just before going ahead with the deck, I just like to thank Partha and also Khushbu, who took a step to and given me the opportunity to come here. And I just want to say here, this deck, whatever training, I'll say it's a training based on safety, it's very basic training on safety. This I'll dedicate it to not the office people. I want to dedicate this training to all the people who are in the field. Okay,
Yes, sir.
because this training I have designed for your company. It is not like generic deck. I have just no, kept it from the laptop and I have just shown you this. I have designed this deck. I have for only for you because the hazard what we're talking about only for related to your company. As per my knowledge, whatever I have gone through your website, discussion with Amok, and based on that I have designed this deck. So
Yeah.
this is dedicated to all the field people who is working in the villages, and they are working for the cause of the company, cause of the people. And that completely, I just wanted to give this training module, you can say, for the people who is working in the field side. So you can see, if you go, when I'll go through the deck, you can see many of the things are very basic. I just wanted to concentrate on the basic, what are the things they need to take care during the activity, during
uh, we have procure and maintain godowns also. So all
yes,
of us are part of this
yes,
group.
yes,
So
yes.
I just thought I can tell you this. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
I know. I understand. I understand, because
Yeah. Yeah.
my purpose was no, giving this. See, every what you call the seminar, you will be talking about a little bit, no, which is may not completely relevant to the operation, the processes. But
Yeah.
I want to make it a point here that whatever I'm going to talk about here is completely relevant to your process and the operations. I
Yes.
want
Yes.
I tried my best to compose having some output, trying to make it very clear. There's something you're going to learn here about the process and what the safety measures we should take care, and what are other challenges you're going to face, maybe you're facing presently during your operation and all. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So can you just present the deck and then play the first one? Yeah, the video.
Deepan, can you just mute yourself? Some noise is there.
Okay. So I just wanted to go to the next slide. So you can see the incident. The person, he was carrying out the activity. You can go to next slide. Yeah, just roll on. Just roll on. No, 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 no. You have to go for. These are all last. Just escape and go just out, and then you can just roll on.
Yeah, I think you should restart the PPT, Rupal. Chandrakala madam, can you please mute yourself?
Okay. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can see in the video that guy, he was initially was doing some kind of activity, and initially his tool was got broken, and then he gone to the department store department. He got his replaced,
Yeah.
and the second time he's the that die which is there below the tool, it was got broken, and he just changed his die as well. But suddenly, because there's a high noise activity, and his ear got damaged, and he went with this broken ear, and he wanted to change the ear, but it can't. The person told, you can't, you have to throw in the dustbin. So the message is very clear. The body parts, whatever you have, it's ours, it's own. that cannot be replaced. So
Hmm.
if you lose safety, you are not following the safety rules and regulations, so you will be end up with losing your body parts or maybe even the fatal accident.
Yes.
And that is the reason the safety is important. That is how the safety is important in us.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes, sir.
yeah, so I can say the safety. So let's understand what is safety now, because we understood that from the example. The safety is something that is all about us and all about taking precaution, from the hazard or any damage thing going to happen to our body. So safety, if you go, if you maybe you can see while we're crossing the road, we'll be always looking at the left, right, and then we proceed. And suppose we are cooking food, we are while holding a hot pan or holding anything which is hot, we'll take some kind of gloves or
Yeah.
some kind of
Yeah.
cloth. Okay, so it's that it came from our own. So it's something like it's a common sense, I can
Yes.
say. So safety, I can feel it's a common
Hmm.
sense. So whatever you are using your common sense to avoid any accident to you or any hazard to you, it's all about safety. That is what I wanted to mean here. The safety is all about the common sense. Go to next slide.
ನಾವು ಎಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿ 3 ml ಬಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಗ್ಲೋದಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ರಾ
Praveen, please mute yourself.
ಆಗಿದೆ ನಮ್ದು ಉಮ್ಮನೆ ಅವರು
Okay. Now, if we see the definition, it's all about the eliminating risk from the surrounding and achieving our task, okay, in your area without any accident. So our target in safety is always to avoid any accident. Suppose in this case, if you see the tiger is there and in front of that one person, so there's a high possibility that the tiger may can harm this guy. Okay, can you click the button next? Yeah. Now we put the tiger inside the cage. Now I am safe. So this is about safety. Okay, so we are just eliminating the risk from our surrounding. That is what exactly we need to do in our organization or on activity. If
Yes.
anything hazard is there in front of your area, we need to eliminate it. That is how we need to keep safe ourselves. Now understand what is accident. Next. Okay, so safety is all about the human, protecting the property. It may be the company property or maybe your own property or maybe the national property, and then protecting the environment. So this is the basic 3 points we are working on always on safety. EHS, you can say environment, health, and safety. First is the people, second is the property, and third are the environment. Next. Okay. Next. Next. Okay. So the accident, let's understand what is accident. So accident is unwanted, unexpected event. Okay. So which you are not expecting any accident. Nobody can expect. Okay.
Yeah.
And no one want the accident to be happening with you, and it may cause of maybe injury also. Sometimes he may not.
Yes.
Okay. But may not is not injured or no property loss, we call it a near miss. And wherever we got injury or we got any kind of property loss, we say as a accident. Now there are many causes where the accident can happen. There are few reasons I've given here. You can see overconfidence. So sometimes you see the people who is very working from now 20 years or 30 years, and if
Yeah.
they violate some rule in company, if you go and ask him why you have done, and he will answer you very nicely, better I have worked here for 30 years, and
Yes.
you are a
Yes.
new worker and you're saying me to that. This
Yeah.
is called overconfidence. So that will always lead to an accident. So this is one of the reasons the overconfidence. Like that, if you're not wearing PPE, PPE means personal protective equipment, okay, like helmet, safety shoe, gloves, for any activity which is required PPE, then it may cause you accident. Okay,
Hmm.
not following safety rule, illness, worries, Okay, then urgency, maybe negligence, all are no, you can say the cause of the accident. There are few other things like no, like fatigue, like no, you're working very hard in maybe hot summer, you may feel no uncomfortable. That may lead to also some kind of accident, because he will be focusing less on the work because he is fatigued on his activity or the process what doing. So that also may lead to the accident. So we need to take care of all the factors to avoid any accident. We need to see that these are all taken care as a management side, or maybe the person side. We need to take care. These are all things should not occur, so that accident that leads to any accident or any unward situation. Next, the cost of accident. Next. So if you see, I think everybody has worked Titanic, right? So in Titanic,
Yes.
you see they have in the ocean, they hit with an iceberg, and they completely the complete tank means that completely the ship
Ship.
was gone down. So they have not seen the big it's a mountain almost, okay, it's iceberg. So only the tip they can see, and that they thought that is very small, but actually below that, the small tip of iceberg, there's a huge amount of mountain. It will be there. So it means it's exactly same with accident. The accident cause, whatever you can see by visually, it's a very small. It's like an iceberg in tip of iceberg, but the hidden costs are huge, that cannot be seen physically, but it will cause you in a term. Next, can you go next? Okay, so there are few like I have given examples. There are many causes might be. The cost of the direct loss, if you see, there are only three direct causes I have mentioned: the pain, the suffering that person will be get during the accident, and then maybe the medical cost or maybe worker compensation. That's it. You can see. But there are other hidden costs which is involved in any accident. That is the production loss. That means the work time loss, the whatever we want to produce, or maybe the related project related, you'll be losing it because your process will be stopped. Okay, there will be delay in the project, delay in the production, the profit loss, the quality loss, the moral loss. Okay, because moral loss, example I can give you: if any person has got accident in any of the group, the other people who was working near to him, he will be afraid to work that same process.
Correct.
Okay, it's an obvious. It will be afraid to, and that will leads to your ultimately the indirect loss for the property. Company image will go when the legal the battle will start. The government will ask you 100 questions. You have to give the reason why it has happened, how it has happened, what is the measure you have not taken, what measure you have taken, and it will come to all the newspaper and all. It will give you a company image. The ideal time of the machine, suppose the equipment where the accidents happen, that equipment you cannot run unless all the investigation has been completed. That means you cannot do the production as well. So that's the loss of the machine ideal time. The overhead cost. Suppose the person who has got an accident cannot join the duty soon. You have to recruit one more guy, and for the equipment you need to give the consultancy, the higher fees, and the other costs. The equipment, new equipment cost will be there. So that is one of the costs where we cannot see in our eyes. The physical, the social loss I want to emphasize, might be the person who was a very social activist, who was doing a social activity in their area, who was a good player, might be, who might be a good singer, will maybe lost, the society may lost him. Okay.
Yes.
So that is the reason. The legal problem apart, I already told. So these are reasons. So that's why we should always very much concerned when we discussed initially with Partha that the requirement of the safety. So these are all reasons where you can see the safety why is much important to any industry. Let it be IT industry, let it be manufacturing. The hazard may be less and maybe less or high, but ultimately we all should work for the one cause of the zero accident. Next. So why did the accident happen? So if you see, the contribution factor basically lays into three areas. One is the unsafe act, second is the unsafe condition, and third is natural calamities. So first unsafe act where contribute 88% and the unsafe condition where contributes the 10%. And national calamities like COVID is going on now. Okay, that is also we can say as a pandemic. So
Yes.
these are 2%. Now we can talk about the unsafe act. 88% contribute. That means the human behavior. That means human. If the person is follow safety rule, that 88% we can generally reduce.
Avoid them.
Can
Yeah.
avoid.
Yeah.
So what Henry's principle? He's a safety person who is a very scientist. He has evolved a what you call theory. It's called Henry's principle. Every major accident, there are always 29 minor accidents. So if a one major accident has to happen in any industry, there might be a small minor accident related to that same cause might have happened. We have not noticed.
Oh.
And might be there are 300 near miss accident might be happened. We may miss that, we may avoid that, we may overlook that, and because of that only one major accident may can happen. Major accident I'm talking about any amputation or any kind of fatal accident. So if we reduce this 300, we can eliminate these 300 accidents. That means we can avoid one major accident, one fatal accident every time. And that is the reason in many companies, they will go for a hazard identification by the working level people, because they're the people who knows about the hazard risks on this process rather than the person who's working in the office. So the scheme is like that. They will introduce such that any person maximum number of identification in your company hazard they will be awarded, or maybe the best identification of hazard will be avoided. So this scheme in many of the companies they run so that you can utilize their skill or their knowledge on the process, and ultimately the management will be getting the benefit, because the accident will be we can reduce the accident, or we can eliminate any accident.
So that is interesting. So according to what you told, it is the employee itself identifies what are the possible hazards.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So if you go through any kind of suppose Factories Act or 1940 Factories Act, or you can go through ISO 45000. There's a clause employee participation in the hazard identification. There's a clause even. So so that participation is nothing but they can participate in any of the activity like hazard identification. They can participate any of the consultation. They can participate any of the motivational activity. Okay, so these are all the part of the ISO 45000 what do you call standard.
Okay.
Yeah. So unsafe act is very simple. It is done by the person. Okay, the person, me, you, anybody who violates any of the rule, or he maybe don't know, the reason may be anything, but he generally violates. The reason may be anything, the root cause may be anything. He may don't know, he is unaware, or he is not versed to the process, or he purposefully is doing anything. But the person he is itself doing the unsafe act. This is called unsafe act basically. Unsafe condition, the environment near the area is not safe. If you see the first picture, the one person, what he has done, he has the forklift, he have put some material and he kept the mast. It's called mast, okay? Where you can hold that, okay? It's a mast. So they have kept the material unattended. It's an unsafe act done by one person. But the second person, when he came below the suspended load, it's an unsafe condition for him. Okay, and for him, it's an unsafe act again.
Yes.
So one person can create an unsafe condition, which might be an unsafe act for him, and that condition might be an unsafe condition for the other person.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
so we need.
Just one question here, because from the pictorial representation which I see, I think most it's a question I want you to answer also. Like most of the times, what happens is we may not be aware that I'm putting myself in an unsafe condition, even though my act of doing it may not be deliberate. So, but it might. So, how do we reduce those things? Like I know processes can reduce it, but most of the times, what might happen is we are in the flow of things, and then we may end up doing something. So that part
So,
I just wanted to ask.
yeah, so here the major part has been should be played by the organization management. So we always the management can support in the unsafe condition, removal of unsafe condition. So
Okay.
as much as possible, we should be conscious about that. We should avoid the unsafe condition. If unsafe condition, if we avoid, that means that the person will be safe. Okay,
Yes.
the person will be in the unsafe condition will be safe. So
Mm.
that part 20% we are in safe. Remaining percent 88% is why the very much important of the regulation, safety policy, training, process document, occupational control procedures. These are all the elements of the Unsafe Act. So if we give training to people, he will
Okay.
understand that this is how we can achieve Unsafe Act. We cannot, we can avoid Unsafe Act. There are certain procedure you can implement. With that procedure, if you do that, you can avoid Unsafe Act. There are many ways to do perform activity, but there will be only one way to achieve this activity in safety, with safety. So we should be looking into that process. So we'll be developing a process document where the person has to work such a way that he should not has to go for Unsafe Act or unsafe condition.
Okay.
So that is how we should have to work. It's a top-down approach. Safety is also a top-down approach where it starts from the policy and end with the person. It's a PDCA circle if you see. So if you establish the policy, based on the policy, you will set your target. Based on the target, you will be setting the process documents and all. It's like a pyramid. So lower level down, the people has to follow all the regulations. And if they won't follow, already you have PDCA circle, you're going to check the process and the act, and based on the act again you are going to take the action. So it's a PDCA circle. So complete circle should be you have to perform the complete cycle.
So in general, when do we validate this? Like, what is the time frame to actually relook at it and validate? Is there a time frame prescribed, like every 3 months, every 6 months? What is it?
So it's not about time. It's about the first initiation of the policy, and after the safety policy, you are going to implement certain goals for the year. Suppose you had last year you have some 10 accident, so you cannot become zero. Okay, all the targets should be SMART. Okay, SMART. So you have to take a target of maybe some 20% reduction of the accident. So might be you are thinking that 2 or 3 accidents are going to reduce in this year. Based on that, you need to guideline you have to establish. Suppose if you are having 20 process document, in process document, what are the steps you need to do for achieving that target? So in that, you have to set some guideline. Based on the guideline, you're going to work, and that monitoring you have to do, and you can review. What you are asking is actually about the review system. The review system is you can be monthly also, it will be quarterly also. It's a hierarchical level. Suppose the immediate supervisor, you are going to review every day, or his supervisor is going to review maybe in the quarterly, or maybe his review, maybe CEO of the company may review in a yearly basis, or once or twice, like that he can review. Yeah. Next. Okay, so these are the examples of unsafe act or unsafe condition. Suppose you are going to your bike, you are riding over speed, so it's unsafe act. Okay, and now the condition is outside, which is COVID situation. It's a given condition, no? It's an unsafe condition outside. So just an example. I don't want to go all the area, so it's just an example I'm giving. So if you are doing any activity which is not safe, it's called unsafe act. So over speeding a bike, it's called unsafe, act. And maybe the COVID scenario in outside your house, it's all about the unsafe condition. Okay, next. Okay, so whenever you design any safety management system in any company, we need to take consideration of this. So our goal is zero accident. To achieve zero accident, we have the unsafe act, the unsafe condition, and to control the unsafe act, we should control man, because man is the primary who will be going to behave unsafely. And the condition, you can say man, machine, material, machine, management, all material also, whatever. So you can put everything in the condition. So if you want to design the safety management system, these parameters you need to look into it actually. So can you go next? Okay, so now I have studied what the activity you carry out in outside, in outdoor, and what is the no your company's the product and the services what you do. Based on that, I have put, suppose I've given a just, I'm not taken, might be I've been missing something, but definitely this will be included on your framework. So if
Yes,
you
yes.
see in your management system in the framework, the man side, you the medical, the manpower, which is I can put as the medical fitness of the people, or maybe safety training. Okay, these all will be coming under man. Machine related, the people, the equipment, whatever you're going to supply or whatever equipment you're going to use for your process and all, that will come in your machine area. And the standard operating procedure, if you have anything or any risk assessment you are doing it, so that will all come in the method. And management side, all the safety policy and the monitoring and measurement system, whatever in place, that will come in management area.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Yeah. So going
Yeah.
next. Okay. So before going to my next slide, just and explain you about the hazard and risk. Many times we have misconception about the hazard and risk.
Yeah.
Hazard is something which may cause harm. Okay, which may cause harm. So which is about, suppose chemical. Okay, chemical is a hazard. Electricity is a hazard. Okay, a vehicle is a hazard. A ladder is a hazard. A human also can be a hazard.
Yes.
But the risk is about something which is harmed by the hazard. Okay. Suppose the chemical, they may burn you. Okay. So burn is a risk.
So the cause and effect, something like that.
Yes, something like that. So hazard is electricity is a hazard. Electrocution is a risk. Okay. So whenever we do risk assessment, we should be very clear about what is hazard, what is risk. Otherwise, you cannot cannot do the risk assessment. So every organization, they will do risk assessment, right? Not only safety, I'm talking on the broader perspective, financial risk, or maybe your property risk, anything, right? So in that time also we use the hazard and risk. So hazard is something like which can cause harm, and that the somebody harmed by the hazard is the risk. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
So next. Okay. So if I see in your in gross perspective in your company, I can see these are the hazard available presently during in a field operation or whatever. The transportation, because you transport material, or maybe there are people who is working in the field, they use transport to go to office or maybe to the site area. The manual handling, because you have to unload and upload many of the items in the car and from vehicle to the client location, and there's the lifting manual handling is there, much of manual handling. The electrical hazard, because you'll be dealing with the electricity and the battery, and also definitely there's a hazard of electricity is exist, electrical hazard.
Yes, correct.
The chemical, because in the battery, whatever you're going to use, they have the electrolyte. And the electrolyte is a chemical, so that is also a hazard. And the human interaction, because you are going to meet people in this pandemic scenario, so you'll be going to meet people personally, you will be talking because of your financial advisor or whatever it is. The person has to go around the people and they have to talk. So it might be that is also a hazard for the people who is going around.
Yes. Right? Yeah. Installation also, like we go and do it in different places.
Different places. And your field people will be going in a village area, maybe in the remote area where there is a possibility of the animal attack or maybe stray dog attack, whatever might be. That is also I can see there's a hazard.
Yes.
So maybe not possible to all the area, but I'll try to cover all the area in this seminar.
Yes, you have identified many of them. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So next. Okay, so let's talk about man. So man means everybody. Okay, any employee, any employee, anybody, you, me, or anybody, the field people or whatever it is. So first responsibility of us is to, the person has to go undergo medical checkup, because we don't know what disease he might have, what type of other illness he have, and you have recruited him and you are sending him for any activity, and if something happened to him, and ultimately it will, the government where people will ask about you what has happened to him. There might be reason, might be his previous illness. Okay, and he got injured or something because his giddiness, he fall down in the middle of the road. Okay, we don't know. So medical fitness certificate is must for any activity, any operation, let it be any industry. And also the person has to be medically and physically fit for any activity, because a field work or whatever, maybe he has to go industry inside, or maybe he has to go any client location, anything. So there's a first thing which is very much important, the awareness training. So whatever activity they are doing, so that might be some hazard, as I discussed in my previous slide. So the
Yes.
person has to aware of that hazard. We should make aware of these hazard available in the operation, and these are the training we're going to give. That's why safety important is very much essential for any activity, where we're going to talk about the basic about the safety, and how they can actually they can save themselves from that hazard. Maybe they have to wear PPE, they have to some certain guideline they have to follow. Few of the guidelines I am sharing today, so in that they have to follow, and they can be safe themselves, make safe themselves for any activity. Suppose the rule follow up in the traffic, because they'll be using might be their own bike or maybe their own vehicle for going to the client location. So they'll be using their own vehicle. So but they should not violate the safety norms. They have to adhere with the RTO rules. So that is, otherwise, like something accident happen. So he is going to duty, and because he is using his own bike, is going to duty, they it may act in different way, right? So that because he's on duty, and but he is violated the traffic rule, and because of that some accidents happen. So he should obey this traffic rule always.
Correct. Yeah.
And the personal protective equipments, that PPE they have to use, because as I told you, all these hazard, electrical, maybe injury or maybe crashes, maybe they during their activity they may get that of hazard. So they have to use the PPE. It's called personal protective equipment. The next. Okay, so these are the general PPEs in industry. Let it be any industry. These are the PPEs as you can use: helmet, ear plug, goggles. So the cap also a PPE. You can treat the PPE because it will protect you from sun. And the goggles, if you are in hot sun, you can use goggles. That because it will reduce your eye strain. And for any high noise area, ear plug is essential. For any lifting activity or any activity in the process, safety shoe is very much important, because it will save the toe, because it has a metal cap in front of that. So these are the PPEs generally recommended for activity wise. Okay, suppose person is going for he has to go for electrical connection at a meter or 2 meter or 3 meter. So he has to use a safety belt. Otherwise, if you fall down, so it will be a big issue. So any the standard is 1.2 meter. So 1.2 meter, anything above you are working will be treating as a height work. So above 1.2 meter, if person is going, he in an industrial environment. Okay, I'm not saying in a home or something, industrial environment, he has to use safety belt. So these are the PPE, yeah, generally is used. Next.
It's 1.2 meters, you told, right?
1.2 meter. So how to use gloves? So basically, come to basic. So people has to wear a gloves for doing any activity. So this is the process. He has to check the gloves, because you don't know, because in a village area, you or maybe in an industrial area where you keep the gloves and something inside, maybe insect or something might be there. So he has to check the gloves before using, and he has to use the gloves. Pull the gloves up to here. Okay, and he has to check whether there should not be any loose cloth and the front loose cotton, because what will happen in case of any equipment, it will pull. Okay, so that's why, and you won't get grip also. You want to catch something, because of the loose gloves, you may not get the grip for the material. So you should have the checkpoint before using the gloves, and you should put it tightly and check the comfortability of the gloves. And there are 3 gloves is recommended for these activities. I think this activity is very common with you. One is the normal general cotton gloves, which is can be used for material transfer, material handling, material lifting, anything. The second is the electrical gloves, where he has to use the rubber gloves, which is available in various ratings based on the voltage, 20 volt, 220 volt, 300 volt, based on that. And the third one is the nitrile gloves. Nitrile gloves are used for chemical handling. Okay, so if you use the cotton gloves in chemical, it won't give any scoricos. So you have to use the nitrile gloves for handling chemical. Suppose you are pouring any kind of electrolyte or any acid pouring, or maybe water you are pouring inside the acid. So you have to use the nitrile gloves.
Yeah, yeah.
Next. Okay, safety shoe. Okay, so safety shoe is very much important. Let it not be safety shoe, but at least shoe is must for any activity. They should not go in a chappal or any other thing, because the activity involves the lifting and the electrical activity. So it is must actually. So this is the way you have to use your shoes. Before using the shoe, you have to check the shoe, because you might be in a remote location, and you can see the below picture. Okay, there's
Yes.
a real picture you're getting in internet. There are many cases where the snake will be there inside the shoe, and if you wear the shoe, it will bite, and you will be spot
Correct.
dead. So that's the reason always person has to check the safety shoe or shoe. If your house is in the ground floor, anytime, Bangalore, even my house, I'm staying in apartment. Every month one or two snake will come, okay, to visit in our area every time.
Yeah.
So people who is there in ground floor should be very careful, because they may not come up, maybe second or third floor, but in ground floor it's highly possible. So you should be, if your shoe or something is outside or something, you should check the shoe before use, and wear always socks. Okay, in many times, in your safety inspection, we found in the site, or maybe the construction site, or maybe the industrial site, people won't wear safety socks, and they'll wear just like that the safety shoe, and they'll work. This is highly dangerous, and you can see this is the way people use generally. If you see the people in the ground side, they'll be using this like that. So this is really avoided, should be avoided. You should not use in such condition the safety shoes. Okay. So next.
So, I have seen
Yeah.
people who use without socks. The reason is the shoe will come out, right? That is the
Yes, yes. Not only come out, in case of any hurt or something, he may damage your leg. Okay, and maybe because of the continuous rubbing of the shoe ladder, you may get
bruising. Yeah.
some scratch or something. So I'll show a video about road safety, because it's all about the people transporting from home to office. So you can
Yeah.
just.
Yeah. Manjunath ji, I request you to please mute yourself.
Here are these questions.
Next. Okay, so we have understood, though the sound was not so perfect, the basic rules, whatever we should follow in road safety. It is about the helmet, and then we should not use mobile phone while driving vehicle, and even not the ear plug also. And also they told about the people, if you are doing pillion riding, two people. So the backside person also has to use the helmet, and also he should take care of the signaling part. So if you want to some vehicle is coming, he can give a signal to the front person about the people, some vehicle is coming. And also they told about the giving the bypass of the people. Suppose you are going in a lesser speed, if people are behind, so you have to go aside and give the pass to the preceding vehicle.
Yes.
So that is all about the safety, road safety. So though the sound is not there, because might be the recording area line, you can take the video. It is available in the. I have shared this slide to Rupal. So from there also you can directly post the video in that. You can join it. Basically, I'm talking about. Okay,
Yes.
so that
Yes.
will be done. Okay,
Yes.
so the second hazard we just want to discuss about the electrical hazard. Okay, so electricity is the flow of current, okay, through a conductor. So this is called electricity. Now there are few hazard risk with the electricity. Okay, so the problem here in electricity, we don't know, because we cannot sense the electricity. We have five senses, right? Taste, maybe touch, maybe sound, maybe feel, or something like that. So, but electricity, you cannot taste it. We cannot touch it. By touching only you can feel. Okay, but you don't know it. It is invisible basically. It's an invisible hazard. So that is a big problem with the electricity. So any chemical is that you may get the smell or you may see the chemical. So there's a sense, five sense, you can use it. Okay, any height work related activity, you can see there's a height work, or you can visibly you can see that there's a possibility person can fall down. But in electricity, all the five sense cannot work, because unless you touch, you don't know whether there's electricity or not. And after touching, you may not be there to realize whether electricity was there or not. So electricity is, that's why very critical in any industrial work. So you may get shock. That is one of the risks. Burn. You can see the second picture. The fire and explosion. And then one more hazard along with that electricity is, suppose one person is working in a ladder and suddenly he got shocked. There might be the shock is very less, maybe 100 volt or maybe less. Okay, but because of the shock, he may do some kind of reaction. Okay, and that reaction might be he may fall down from the ladder and may die. So that is the one more risk in that electricity. So it all depends upon the severity of the amount of current. Okay, so if you see here in the second picture, I have shown the rating. Okay, its rating, its current rating is in milliampere. So 1, 2 maybe it is there in 100. I can't see below. It is maybe high up to 190. It is there. Okay. So here, what will happen if you get 1 to 5 milliampere current on you? So here the resident cannot feel it. Can feel it. Okay. Just you can feel it. Might be in a small battery. If it is there, if you touch positive, negative, sometimes some people may not feel based on the intensity. So some people will feel it. If it is go higher, maybe 5 to 10, so cannot let go. That means it will catch you. The AC voltage will catch you. If you go beyond that, that means 10 to 50 milliamp. Okay, so it will cause injury. Okay, it will cause injury, and beyond that 50 to 100, it may kill people. The fatality may can occur. So generally, if you see in industrial or anywhere where there's equipment is there, they'll put the ELCP, okay, arc leakage circuit breaker, or maybe MCP. They'll put a rating of 32 milliampere, not more than that. Okay. So now, while 32 milliampere we put, Suppose the current is coming above that, the fuse is there to break and the current won't pass to the human body, because up to 32 milliampere a person can resist in his body. Beyond that person, there's a 99% possibility people can die. So that's why all the ELCB, RCCB, all the circuit breaker or maybe MCP, they put a rating of 32 milliampere. And that is a basic point in safety, that 32 milliampere in construction industry where, or maybe any industry where they use the portable tools and tackles, or maybe power tools they use, their rating should not go more than 32 milliampere. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a causes of electrical accidents I have written. So if you follow this cause, there's a chance that you can reduce this kind of accident, or you can eliminate this kind of accident. The first thing I have given this point based on the activity in your operation. Okay, I'm not given other than that. This is all possible in your activity. The first thing is usage of tool we call without insulation. The first picture you can see the tester. If you see at home, tester, the tester handle will be there. After tester handle, there will be insulation, and the small tip of the tester will be open always. So that is what,
Yes.
insert it and you test the current is available or not. If the insulation is not there, that means that area which is open, it is electrocuted. If you touch that, people will get electrocution. So that's why the uninsulated equipment is highly dangerous. Any equipment we are using, it should be electrical related. We should use the insulated equipment. Even
Yes.
though the equipment which is tool, power tools, there should be double insulation. Okay, suppose any Bosch drilling machine, grinding machine, portable grinding machine, you can see double insulated. They'll write double insulated. Double insulated in the sense inside also there's insulation. Above that, whatever the frame they have, that also have the insulation. So if one insulation fails, second insulation onward. So it is required. The double insulation is required. Second thing is that if you see in the villages or maybe in your childhood, people will come, the electrician will come, they will put on bulb, and both sides they will be have the naked wire, then put inside the plug, and they will see, oh,
Yes.
current is there. Okay, might be new generation they can't see, but this is highly dangerous. That is banned actually now. Okay, you should not do. Okay. The third point, any ladder, electrical use ladder, that below the ladder, the way they stand touching the ground, it should be insulated. That should be bush should be there. In that, rubber should be there, so that in case of any electric fusion, you won't earth. If earth, then people will die. So that should be insulation should be there. Like that, some other reasons are there. Flare where, suppose, which is open where you are touching directly. Okay, leaning close to the equipment during work. Suppose some equipment is there, the person is leaning and just talking in phone. So that also may cause the accident, electric accident. Short circuit of the wire. Okay, that's also possible. Where there is a 3-pin requirement, you are putting a 2-pin and doing the work. That also might be a cause of accident. Tapping a current, unauthorized tapping. Okay, so unauthorized tapping, like no, there should be always some source where you can tap current for any activity, and there should be 3-pin plug. Suppose you are doing some welding work and you have the plug, and that welding machine should be connected through the main source through a plug. But you can see many areas they will put inside the normal 3-pin, the female portion, they'll put inside the wire, naked wire. So that is not allowed. If you do that, there might be a flash arc or something, and there might accident can occur. So these are all the ways where the possibility that accident can happen. If we avoid this, there's a chances you will eliminate this electrical accident. Next slide. So battery. So as you know, this I think you are using this type of battery, right? In your yeah. So are you using this type of battery, lead acid batteries? Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Sorry,
Okay.
I was speaking. I don't know. Some issue was there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you are
Yeah,
using,
yeah.
I think,
We use these
yes, yes.
batteries. Yes, yes,
I have seen, actually. I have seen one of their picture on
yes, yes.
personal. So these batteries are called weight cell batteries, or maybe flooded batteries, or maybe spillable batteries, because here we have the electrolyte inside, and
Yes.
there are few hazards associated with this battery. That's why I have taken this example. So there are chemical hazard. There's a risk of explosion. There's a risk of electrical shock, the ergonomic hazard, and transportation hazard. So let's talk about the chemical hazard. So lead acid battery contains electrolyte, and the electrolyte is a chemical where there is a S2S is a there is a acid, actually, basically, okay, inside,
Yeah. Yeah.
sulfuric
Yeah.
acid, okay.
Correct.
So this sulfuric acid is poisonous, okay, and also it is very hazardous, corrosive in nature. If you see this right color sign is yellow color, it may burn your hand or anything. You see the
Hmm.
pictures below. You can see there is a burn or eye injury, hand burn and all. So while using these batteries or refilling this what you call chemical electrolyte, you should be very careful. First of all, we should wear the PPE. PPE comes with this is the mask or a goggle and hand gloves. That also nitrile hand gloves.
Hmm.
The second thing, while pouring the chemical inside the battery, when you are going for servicing, okay, people are going for servicing, and the servicing, you will take the acid bottle or water bottle with him, and he will put the acid, okay. And while putting the acid, he should use the funnel, should be non-metallic, okay, non-metallic funnel. And
Yeah.
while putting, after putting, he has to wait for some time. Otherwise, what will happen is, while putting, because it generates some fumes, the fume has to go up, okay.
Yes.
And after that only he has to put the closer of the button. Otherwise, what will happen is the fume will be there inside and maybe cause of explosion, okay. So
Yeah.
these are the safety measures they have to take during the handling of the chemical in the battery.
Yes.
Go
Yes.
next. Okay, so electrolyte spill, if it is spill in the area, that should be immediately you have to see the MSDS. It's called Material Safety Data Sheet for the particular chemical. And what measures they have given, they have to follow. Might be they will be giving measures of putting the soak. You have the spill kit. The spill kit you can put, or maybe you put some stand, whatever it is. You have to follow that instruction, whatever instruction they have given.
Yes.
Fire explosion, generally leaches battery vent has while starting the battery, discharging battery, there is no kind of hazard of fire explosion, but it is exists while they will be charging, okay. So in charging, the production of H2, hydrogen and oxygen, which leads to explosion sometime. And in the
Yes.
mist, what will generate, it is a sulfuric acid. And what will happen is H2S is the highly flammable gas, as you know, H2S. H2 means hydrogen, and then it will oxygen will supplement the oxygen, and it may explode. Okay.
Yeah.
Suppose you are giving to the house, the battery is kept in the area, that area should be ventilated enough. Okay, ventilation should be there. It should be area, that area below something they have to put. It should not keep in the ground. Hmm. So that's the measures they have to take. The electrical wise, definitely the voltages are not much. So shock also it will be not much, but definitely there's a shock, little shock, and that's a, when the positive negative touches what you call arc, okay, or maybe
Yeah.
electrical shock. And that's why you should not keep any metal item above the battery, and you should not keep any tool inside above the battery. And if you're keeping the battery 4 5 battery together, if you see the picture, you have to put a cupboard, you should put a cupboard one after another, and then you should store the battery. Okay, so
Yeah.
these are all precautions in electrical work. Even though the person who is handling the battery, he should not wear jewelry item. That also is there. Suppose you are wearing a necklace, your chain, and it touches the positive when you are already touching the negative. So the person will get the shock. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's just no, we should take care while dealing with the battery. And the last portion is the ergonomics, because I'll come to that in my last slide. The equipment is heavy. The battery is generally very heavy. So while lifting, they should be taking care of their health. Okay. So that I'll show you my last slide. This will be there in that ergonomics I have shown. In that also what the safe lifting procedure for any manual handling. Next. So I'll show you one clip. Okay. Can you just switch you?
Deepu sir, can you please mute yourself?
Okay. So it's a funny scene of Hangama movie. I think all you have seen this movie. So you have seen how the person was beaten up because the person was electrocuted. So next slide.
Yeah.
So we should not do such way. If any person got electrocution, we should not beat the person. I have seen in many times if a person is by hand is electrocuted, the person will hit his hand. Nothing will happen because of electricity, but because of hitting, the person may can lose his limb. So we should not go anytime. So there's a process. You can remove that guy from the electrical source. So initially, we have to switch off the power if available nearby the DB or whatever it is. If not available, we can take any dry kind, what you call any dry belt, or maybe any cloth or anything. You have to pull that guy from the. Basically, you have to remove the body from the electrical source, and then we have to see whether the person is breathing. If the person is breathing, and then you can go directly for the first aid based on the severity. Suppose he may got burned or he may got some other thing, you can go for first aid. So the first aid is different. So I don't want to express more about first aid because itself is a big training about first aid. So you can go for the first aid. And if the person is not breathing, you can go for the CPR. Okay. So CPR, you can go. That also there's a process in the first aid training. If you go to first aid training, they will explain you how you can go for CPR. So that's the process you can follow in case of any electrical shock. And also, the meanwhile, if you see the last photograph what I've shown, you have to call for help. Okay, immediate ambulance or something. You should not. Meanwhile, during giving the first aid, you should call for ambulance or any other support. Go next. Okay, so there's a video about stray dog. So that actually tells about it's not the all about how by the video maybe some people it will work positively, some people may not. But there's some ways has been given how you can be safe and very logical as well, very logical. So if you see the video, you can understand. Just can I play the video? So could have got the sound because Sound was important in this video because most of the thing it is there in.
I think we will share it with all so that
Okay,
everybody can
fine.
see it from there. I think that would.
That will better. So we'll go to next slide. So you can go through this video. Definitely, this video will give a positive result for any
Yes, yes.
avoid the stray dog. Okay. So I'll come to next portion about the machine. So how we can you can be safe in your operation. So basically, for machine generally, I consider about the vehicle you're going to use, because your activity involve the transportation in the vehicle you're going to use. So that vehicle should be and all the regard documents should be there. Otherwise, there will be late in the process or attending any client or anything. So this is a part of the safety, because any rush activity will hamper the safety. Suppose you are behind schedule. Okay, definitely you are going to take some shortcut. You are going to be in hurry, and that will create the safety hazard. Okay, so that always the productivity and the safety is correlated, or maybe you can say the schedule of a project is always related to the safety, because if you lose your schedule, you will be going in a hurry, you will be going in a overtime mode, or maybe you're going to work a little bit fast or something, and then only the violation will happen, and that violation leads to accident. So that's why we should be very clear that all the vehicle what we are going to use should be have the proper license, proper documentation, and also it should be free from any defect on any error. The
Right.
second thing, you should take care about the equipments. Whatever equipment you are going to use, it should be safe. Safe in the sense, you can see the first picture. Suppose there's a possibility while you run the equipment, there's a part may come out and it may hit the person's eye or maybe body, whatever. So that may be possible. Second thing, there may be some rotating parts in the equipment which may trigger to entangle you, and you entangle your cloth or whatever you hand, and it may create to amputation. The third is related to the hot surface. Suppose you are any equipment which to be maybe in petrol you are using, or any fuel you are using, or maybe electrical you are using. After use might be it is some surface will be hot. So you should be aware that that area is hot, and you should put some kind of visualization. The area is hot, do not touch. Okay. So if you see, if you use bike in a bike after coming from,
Yeah.
and many people who has used the bullet, he once in his lifetime he will get a touch in his leg, and he that leg area will be burned.
Yeah.
Is not enough. So sometimes it touch your leg. If you are not using long pant or something, sometime it will touch your leg to that silencer, and it touch the silencer, it take entire your flash. It will go. Okay. So that's why the this is required. And also the electrocution part already you have discussed. That area should be careful. And tools and tackles. Suppose you are using any hand tools. Okay, these are not power tools, hand tools. Or talking about hand tools. The hand tools should be checked properly, because that will create an accident. Because suppose any hammer which is broken, if you use that, so it may create any accident. And also any screwdriver you are using, that will be very careful, because if you see many of the electricians, they'll be using that screwdriver in many areas as a tester, and tester as a screwdriver. Okay, go to next. Okay, so now it is very basic, very basic. The screwdriver. So screwdriver is the tool where maximum the technician they'll be having with them to opening any screw or anything, and that screwdriver they'll be using for multi-purpose. Okay, so it should not be used as a hammer. It should not be used. Hammer should not be used on him, on the screwdriver. Even though the screwdriver, whatever you are using the screwdriver, right screwdriver should be used for the right screw. And also the screwdriver should not be kept in pocket or anywhere in your cloth. It should be kept in a bag. Okay. And the screwdriver should not be the holding portion should not have any grease or any other loose greasy material where there is a chance of slip. Okay, so these are the precaution and measure with the screwdriver. Go next. Okay, go next. Okay, so you know the spanner and wrenches we are using in all the where the technician is going to use. So in that you can see they will use the hammer with the spanner, or maybe the spanner they will use as a hammer. So that should not be there. Right tool for the right job should be there. The spanner should not be used as any other tool, and also the big spanner, it's called the wrench vise or maybe the pipe vise, should not be used as a what you call other as a spanner, because that's a bigger one, and if you slip, then it might happen that you after slipping you may fall sometime, and there is something sharp object and it has hurt your head, and person will die then and there.
Mm.
So a small incident, small, very small. Okay, I'm talking about the spanner. Okay, the spanner, and this spanner may lead to a accident. I was working with Toyota
Mm.
7 years. In Toyota, Toyota is having the SOP for removing a bolt,
Mm.
removing a small screw. Also, they are having SOP. Everything A to Z. They are completely a process-driven company. So in that company, if you see, even though they will after one tightening on a screw, they'll put on mark there.
Yo.
That
Okay.
means that has been checked double. So
Oh.
second person when it will come, he will see that this is checked. Okay. So every time they will do any activity, they will say yours. That means you have sometime what happened? No, you have paid money to the petrol bunk. You paid money, $100, and after they were thinking whether I paid or not,
Mm.
right? So same time happen if I have 100 screw, you'll be tightening one by one. You'll be confused after that which one I have tightened, which is not. So after touching, screwing or tightening any of the bolt in the vehicle, okay, I'm talking about the vehicle. I was in production in plant, Birdi plant in Toyota TKM. So there, so they will put mark, okay, one screw mark, one screw mark. Even though they will do some maintenance activity in the roof, they will put mark. Okay, every person will be having 4 or 5 colors, and they will put mark. So this is a process check. Suppose after 2 marks are there, that means the person has been rechecked and retighted, something like that. So that's why even though small spanner also, if you're going to use, that also may create an accident, and we should be vigilant about that. Go to next slide. Okay, players also we are using it for very often, and these players are very dangerous because these players are we are using for cutting electrical wire. So electrical wire are suppose we don't know, because as I told you, it is senseless, right? We cannot change. So if the power is there and this is not insulated, the players are not insulated, so it may create a electrocution and the person may can die. So that should be careful. Okay. Next. Go next. Okay. So method control, I'll say in the method part about the risk assessment. In general industry practice, the people will identify the hazard, and based on the hazard, they will do the risk assessment. So risk assessment, there are many processes you can follow, like the matrix process. These are all qualitative methods, qualitative risk assessment. So in qualitative risk assessment, you are going to assess the risk based on the metrics. So they will put the but you are going to understand that this is hazardous, or this is, risk is more. When the risk is more, you are going to put some kind of countermeasure, and the risk has been coming down or not. In 90% case, the risk is cannot be eliminated. Risk can be reduced. 90% case. Engineering and administrative and PPE. So first is about the elimination. So elimination is what I think people know about the unleaded petrol, right? You know unleaded petrol.
Yeah. Yes. Correct.
Okay. Initially, when putting TL, used for reducing the knocking in a vehicle. The
Hmm.
knocking sound will be there, knock knock karke sound will be there, and you can reduce this adding the TEL. Okay, anti-knocking agent. It's called anti-knocking agent, and the TEL is a very, 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 very dangerous chemical. Who has used TEL during the process time of the refinery?
Yeah.
All the people are become important. They cannot reproduce. Yeah,
Hmm.
and because of that, TEL is banned, and they are doing unleaded now. No lead, no lead. They
Oh,
use.
yes,
They are
correct.
using some other chemical, and that's why we
Hmm.
say unleaded petrol. Unleaded petrol is for that only actually. Unleaded petrol, and this is called the elimination. We have eliminated hazard completely.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Second is the substitution. Suppose you are using a chemical for fluorine, which is solvent based, and then
Hmm.
solvent is not good for environment, right? So we will be
Hmm.
using a water based solvent. No, this is called substitution.
Yeah.
Okay. Then is the engineering control. Suppose you are having a machine and that guarding is there. In that guarding, you are putting a guard. There's a rotating part where a rotating part may can harm your hand or anything. So you are putting a guard. So it is engineering control.
Yes, yes, okay.
Okay. So in your process, the person has to work 12 hours. Okay, and then it's very difficult for him for working 12 hours. You're divided into 2 shifts, 6 hours, 2 shifts. It's called administrative control.
Yeah.
And last is PPE. So sometimes it is not at all possible to eliminate the risk or hazard, and you have to work with the risk and hazard. Now we are in a COVID scenario. In a COVID scenario, there is no point that now in the present scenario we can eliminate the hazard. What we are doing, we are using mask. So this is called the PPE. We cannot eliminate the hazard. So we
Yeah.
are using gloves and PPE for going outside. So this
Okay.
is called the PPEs. Okay. So this is all about the method. Go to next. Go next.
I think her laptop has some issues.
Okay. 1 minute. No problem. No problem. Let me proceed to. Okay. No, not this one. Management will come actually. Not this one. The before one. Yeah. Next to that. Next to that.
So can you tell me which slide? Like, should I go?
It is that same slide. I have mistaken actually. The same slide where they have the autos and all the vehicles are there. That only. Next step. Okay. So I just wanted to explain about the transportation, because you'll be transporting the maybe your goods from the godown to the client location. So in that, maybe you will be using any mode. No, you may be using your own vehicle, or you will be using any kind of three-wheeler, or maybe kind of this kind of small van type of thing you will be using. So these are as I told you earlier, that all the documentation part should be very clear on the document, because this is a part of the safety check, and also the person's skill, the driver's skill. I know there's a challenge. Maybe you will be hiring the vehicle from the third party. You may not sure about the skill, but at least you can assess the people whether you are taking the vehicle from the right source, so that the person is skilled enough. They can assure the person is licensed or what you call skilled. The third point is about the material, security material. So whatever material you're going to take from behind, uh, tighten properly, because what may happen, because of maybe undulation, the material may can fall. So I think you'll be dealing with the big panels of the this the glass panels, right?
Yeah, the solar panel. Yeah.
Solar panels. So that's what the second. The another part is like, no, you should go to the previous slide. So the projection, so should not be projected out from the vehicle. That should not be projected out from the
Yes.
vehicle.
Yes.
And also the people who is traveling to with them, they should not travel with the material. Okay, you can see in the third picture, the person is traveling along the material. There's a high possibility there's an accident can occur. And also it is not advisable. You can see the last picture is many time I've seen this picture many time in many of the sites. I can see the cleaner, driver, or any other people, they will sleep or they will take rest below the truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this type of unsafe act should not be carried out. That should be that you have to communicate to all the people. These are the unsafe act you should not do at any cost. Go to next. So management side, as I told you, the starting from policy, we should establish the policy, and based on the policy, we should put our like targets and the goals, and based on the goals, we should start preparing the process and guidelines. Okay. So the monitor and the measurement is one part where the management system should be monitored and measured continuously for a continual improvement. And also the feedback system should be there on the management system, because ultimately the performance of the safety management system should go continuously improve. Okay, it should not go something like going down, it should go up always. That means if you are having 10 accidents, it should go to 8, 8 to 6, 6 to 2, 2 to 0, 0, then continue. So if anything happen in between, that means there's a problem in the management system. Any of the parameter what I have told you, man, machine, method management, might be the training is not good, the process document is failed, maybe we're not monitored properly, there's no supervision, something should be there. And that should be done through the RCA. Okay, root cause analysis. There are many areas you can do root cause analysis, FMPA, EMS, so many things are there, like FIS1 analysis. So there are many ways you can do the risk assessment, and based on the risk assessment, you will identify the root cause. That's why I've written the accident investigation. So any incident happen, even though near miss also, it should be reported, so that the management can revisit the incident, identify the root cause, and they can get the solution for recurrence prevention. Okay? Recurrence prevention. So that is the role of the management in the safety management system. Okay, go next. Okay, so I'll just quickly show you. There's a video. You can display the video to all people. There's a very nice video, but I'm not going to video now because there's no use, but there's no sound. I'll go to the slide. Same thing is there. I'll explain you in the slide. Go to next slide. Okay. Now we are talking about ergonomics. Okay, there are many ergonomic systems. Like in the production area, the ergonomics are different. In the process area, ergonomics points are different, and the office area also ergonomics points are different. Now we are talking about the ergonomics in your process. Process means the people where there's for you might be the chair where you're sitting might be 10 inch. For me, it might be 12 inch. Okay, your need might be the bigger chair. My need might be smaller. More about the comfortability of how you can perform your work more comfortably. In the same way, you can see in the process. Suppose if you have kids in your house, you can see if you ask them to pick anything, any item from the ground, what they will do, they will sit there nearby, they'll pick the material and they'll stand up. That is how they pick, and this is come from their childhood. Okay, I don't know how, there's no answer. They know that is how it should be. Exactly, that is how we should lift. But how we are lifting, we are bending our knees, we are bending our what you call back, or maybe there's there's many ways we can pick, but there's only one way how we can lift a material. Now go to next slide. Okay, so if you have to lift, because your process involves manual handling. Okay, battery, panels, anything, you use the manual handling. So in this manual handling, this is the way you should lift. The person has to go near to the item. You should know the weight generally. Okay, at least approximately weight you should know. If it is not not you cannot lift, you should leave it. Okay, there is no standard for process like you company whatever your type of company is standard, but in industry it is fixed. 40 kg for male, 30 kg for female. Okay, so here you are going to lift. Okay, with this material. So in that material you should go near to that. You should put your right leg up front a bit, stay close to the object, and put your sit there, put entire weight to your leg, not to your back. Okay, you should lift by your leg, not by your back, because back is not for lifting. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
lift, and you have to hold firm. Okay, you have to first hold the material very firmly, check it. If it is okay, then only you should lift. Keep the material as near as you. Okay, when it will go beyond your body, the weight will be more. You cannot hold. When it will near, you can hold. Okay, so that's why
Yeah.
the weight should be nearby. And same way, when you are going to lift, you should go there, and you should stand, sit, and keep. If you want to move from straight direction to right direction, don't move the body completely. You should move. You should
Yeah.
move completely. You should not move the body. That will impact on your back, and it will slowly your back ache will start. Okay,
Mhm.
this is the way we should lift or any transporting material. Go to next. Go next.
Sir, I just wanted to keep you informed. We are a bit overshooting of the time. Is that
Oh, how much time I have?
yeah? That is we were. I think we were close by 5, but that is okay, sir. Anything we can summarize and then
Okay, so
close.
I'll
I think.
take
Yeah.
not much time. I'll
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
some COVID slide, and then we will finish.
Yes. Yes.
So you
Yes.
can go
Yes.
next. So these are you can share it to all how we
Yes.
can
We
lift.
will definitely make use of
Yeah.
this, and I think we'll get back to you for
Yes,
certain
yes.
things.
Go to the COVID slide, then I'll just explain the COVID slide. Okay. Go next. Okay. So now, see, now I think everybody has gone through this COVID, and every company has, I think, arranged so many COVID, seminar where you listen webinar. If you have Facebook, you see it's COVID, message COVID, out you go COVID. So it is enough of COVID everywhere. But at least after lockdown, it will spread, and maybe because of the mass gathering it will spread, or maybe because of the coughing or anywhere okay, do not go to any gathering. Okay, so let's talk about the how in the workplace, how we are going to manage this situation. So first the rule is, if you are not well, please stay back at home, and you can relax and show to doctor. If you are not feeling well, you should not go to office actually, because it will no affect others. Okay? So that's what you should do. Go to next. Okay, so these are the self measure you can do. Wash your hand, as I told you. Then you can temperature check you can do, and while coughing, cough etiquette you can do. All the food whatever you take, it should be hot, and it should be served hot. Okay, go next.
Sir, are you sharing?
No, I don't know whether.
Yeah.
Let
Okay.
me,
Okay. I think she's doing it again. Just.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So at home, what you should do? Okay, na? So you should be
Yeah.
home be clean, no, in tidy condition. The toilet should be clean, and you should use hand sanitizer and wash. You know that, and self temperature monitoring you should always do. Educate your family members and ensure that the social distancing has been maintained for anything somebody is coming at the house. Now social distancing now is 6 feet. This is 1 feet. 1 meter was there previously. Now it is 6 feet. And also you should avoid any visitor to house, and also you should not go to any party or anything. Go next. So let me share. Okay, okay, fine. So you should not go out basically for other than any work. So if you're going to work, okay, you should go direct work and come back to your home. And if you're going outside, and you should have to follow certain rules and regulations, and then only you should enter your home. So when you're going outside, you should always use mask, hand gloves, social distancing, avoid public transport as much as possible. Do not touch anything unnecessarily, and also avoid the crowded places. Suppose you wanted to buy something, go place where there is nobody. And also try to use your mobile payment or digital payment mode rather than giving the cash.
Okay.
While you're coming back to home, you should wash your hand. Do not touch anything before you go for any no bath or any cleaning of your hand, of body, mainly the head, because whenever you wear your mask, you'll be talking to somebody, you're saving your face, but your head might be, the droplets will stick in your head, and when you come to home and you sleep, it will stuck in your bed, or made from there only the spread can happen. So that's why you should wash your hand, or other you can wear a cap. And also is advisable to wash your clothes after reaching home. And also all the items, suppose you are using wallet, your mobile phones or anything, you should be sanitized properly. Go to next. Okay, so if at all you need to use public transport, okay, so these are the what you call the rules you should follow. You should use PPE and also hand mask, and you should keep on sanitizer with you before and after getting in and getting out. You should use sanitizer. And also you should use the social distancing norm while sitting, and also avoid sitting near to any person, and do not touch any holding points as much as possible. Okay, because there is a place where the spread may can happen. And if you're using your own vehicle, or you are going with somebody to office vehicle or somebody, always you should use the social distancing, but whatever government has given, cross diagonal you can sit. And also there should not be any carpooling. Okay, if you are using driver, the driver should have the COVID, what we call, should not have any symptom. They should use PPE as well, and also the temperature monitoring and all. There should not be pillion riding. There should be, if you are going alone, you should be going alone. You should not take anybody with you in this scenario. Go next. Okay, so might be in previous condition you'll be going to villages and then be talking with the people like that. But presently you should avoid completely that. Whenever you want to give anything to information to anybody, you should maintain a social distancing. Okay, you only can initiate. You can ask the people who should, in this scenario we should not talk like that. Please sit separately, at least a 6 feet distance each, and you should be in the front side and take a distance. Okay, and then you can address the people. And you are in a meeting and small discussion of anybody with anybody, you can have a distance among yourself, and you can complete your discussion. Okay, and all per person in this meeting should wear gloves and hand gloves. Okay, and the mask. Go next. Okay, inside the activity, while you are carrying out your process, or maybe you're meeting somebody, whatever activity you do, these are the things you should follow. PP again, no handshake, no speeding while walking. Also, 2-3 people if you are walking, please take no maintain a social distance among yourself. And also wherever necessary, you have to go for a to buy something, go to ATM. You should be in a queue. Take your own bottle for the work, and the supervisor has to monitor all these things. And any meeting or any gathering where people has to gather together for more than 2 people should avoid in this scenario. Go next. Okay, in the office side also, whenever you sit inside the office, you should sit diagonally opposite, and also you should have the your own utensils for tea, coffee, and everything, and the water bottle. Wash your hand very frequently, though you are in office. Avoid using any kind of AC or something, even though diagonally opposite manner, and same way you should not use any cash. You should use maximum the digital payment mode. Go next. Okay, so in this lift, if you are using the lift, these are things you should use. If you are having lift in your office, you should disinfect the lift immediately after 1 hour, or maybe frequency you can see set. And also that lift should be have the minimum capacity. You should not run to complete the higher capacity. Make a social distancing on inside the lift. And also, if you wanted to press the button, you should use any kind of mode. Now that they have many people are saying you can use toothpick or any key or anything you can use, and even go next. Okay, so you should not talk inside the lift. That's the very key point. And if you're using any kind of tissue paper for opening the lift or something, you should throw the tissue paper out there while coming out from lift. Use your elbow or any other mode for switching on the lift if you don't have tissue paper or anything with you. Go next. Okay, in toilet, while opening the toilet, you should be very careful. You should use your leg, or now the toilet opening that leg, they have the some attachment also came out. You can attach to the door below. You can open your the door with your leg as well. So and also during lunch and break time, you should make a social distancing while taking the food. Also take food in hot condition before and after. Go next. Okay, so if you have kitchen, in your office you have a dining hall, you should clean the dining hall very frequently. And also you should not talk. You should not talk inside the dining hall while you are having food. That's the very key. And you should maintain social distancing while you are having food. And this is the how to wash. Already it is available on the website. You can go through, and in the material also it is there. You can just go through. Go next. Okay, so these are the we can go through it. These are sanitizer, which is actually good, 70% alcohol sanitizer, and which is recommended industrial sanitizer, where in all the factories and the IT parks they are using it. And also the mask, whatever is given, these are all the masks you can use it. Even nowadays, the people are saying you can use for cloth also as well.
Mhm.
I think that's it from my side. I think it's quite long.
Yeah.
So
Definitely, sir. It was very informative, and actually, many things um, to tell you. Like, we have many of the points that you have covered. Yes, the identified, and with regards to the training that we give and the kind of measures that we take, yes, most of what you have told, we cover it, and we have trainings. We have trainings, but yes, there is scope for improvement. We'll definitely improve. It was very informative, and with regards to COVID also, I personally had some questions regarding how to manage COVID and all. I think that you have covered already. So it was very interesting and interesting talk from you, and I think we will definitely be in touch with you so that any other requirement is there, or we need to know more about any specific certifications and other things. I think we'll definitely be in touch with you. And
sure.
I would want to thank you again on behalf of all my colleagues in Selco. So it was very that you took out your time and then came and talked to us. It was very informative, sir. And anyways, this is again on YouTube. So because many of my colleagues who are there on the field, right, they may not have come up live. So they will definitely go back and see, and we will definitely get our HR teams, and then service the technician teams, because more than 50% of our staff work are like, we have a network of technicians, so they will all definitely go through this. So it will be helpful, sir. So I would like to thank you. Thank you for.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. Again, I'm thanking Khushbu, Amog, who was with me from a couple of days, and definitely Partha. Nice to talk with you. And definitely, if you want any information, I am open to it. anytime you can reach out to me. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Jayant. So this environment, health and safety, this is actually a very wide topic, and I think we need many more sessions from you on
Exactly.
this.
Yeah.
So, because it's 1 hour or 2 hours is very less to understand this.
I understand. Because I wanted to, because I knew, because initially the challenges, if could have, all the challenges could have, mitigated earlier, we could have managed the time. Anyhow, nevertheless, happens. It's okay. So what my suggestion is, the videos are there in the PPT. You can edit the video before posting to YouTube. The videos are much important. You can just cut the video and you can post it, and then you can edit that and you can just post it.
Okay. Yeah. We'll do that, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thanks a
sir.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jayant.
Yeah. Thank you for all the people who have attended. We are close.